Well, earlier I spoke with Scott Gration, the US Special Envoy to Sudan. I began by asking him why the talks in Doha between Sudan's government and the rebel groups have had little results.
Nothing went wrong. As you know, most of these issues are iterative. There's a process, and we're continuing to work on that process. In fact, I just left Doha 2 nights ago, where we were continuing to work on a ceasefire arrangement between the government of Sudan and the Justice and Equality Movement, or better known as the GEM. We'll continue to work on these because we believe that a ceasefire is critical to ending the bloodshed, ending the dislocation, and ending the suffering that the people of Darfur have had to endure too long. So we'll continue to work no matter how long it takes, no matter how hard it is. That's our mission. But
this has reversed dramatically, hasn't it? The only faction which actually signed a proper ceasefire with the government back in 2006, Mini Minawi's SLA faction, was actually fighting with the government. There were clashes between the two just a few days ago. It seems as if things have gone backwards.
It is very unfortunate that the Mini Minawi forces are now fighting with the government, and we've called on both sides to stop fighting. We've called on Mini Minawi to get to the negotiating table, and certainly we've called on the government to cease those attacks that are dislocating people in Darfur. It is our urge and our desire that everybody gets to the negotiating table, that there's a peace agreement that starts with a ceasefire, and then a framework that addresses those underlying root causes that must be fixed before there can be peace in Darfur.
Your president, Barack Obama, calls the government of Sudan's actions in Darfur genocide. The US ambassador to the UN, Susan Rice, calls it genocide. But you, in 2009, you said to the Washington Post, and I quote, "The coordinated genocide was over." It sounds as if there's a schizophrenic policy. Is genocide taking place or isn't it?
Certainly, the president has defined the genocide that is taking place. And what we're all doing is working very hard to make sure that the people of Darfur no longer live in abhorrent conditions, that people can go back to their places of choosing with human rights, voluntarily, with compassion and dignity. These are the things that we have to do. These are the conditions that we must change, and we have to make sure that the root causes of conflict, the root causes of dislocation come to an end, and people can live with tomorrow being much better than today, and certainly much better than the past, where they endured terrible suffering and genocidal conditions.
Just to be absolutely certain, you're saying that a genocide conducted by the Sudanese government is still currently taking place. That's the official viewpoint of you as the US Special Envoy to Sudan.
I'm saying that the conditions exist, and I'm not really worried right now about the terms. I'm worried about making changes that will create a new atmosphere, new conditions for the people in Darfur.
Talking about things that will change conditions, the ICC has charges against President Omar al-Bashir, plus an arrest warrant for war crimes, crimes against humanity, and 3 charges of genocide. Do you support the ICC's endeavor to try and get the Sudanese president arrested and taken to The Hague?
Certainly, we encourage President Bashir to comply with the conditions that the ICC has laid out. That's the position of our government, and that's what we will continue to do.
Will that not hamper what you're trying to do to try and get the government and the rebels talking?
Certainly, we will do everything that we can to ensure that the rebels are part of the solution, that the government is able to bring about a lasting and durable peace in Darfur, that the comprehensive peace agreement is implemented fully, and that those post-referendum arrangements are agreed to and implemented. There's a lot of work to be done, and certainly that's what we're putting our efforts to. The Obama administration is committed to full implementation of the CPA, to ending the conflict in Darfur, and to having a Sudan, whether it's united or whether it's separate, at peace with itself and at peace with its neighbors.
You say
that's what we're endeavoring to do.
You say whether it's united or whether it's separated, but it's a foregone conclusion that it's going to be separated, is it not? That referendum is going to take place and the South will secede. That's no secret, is it?
Obviously, there's people that have judgments, and it is probably going to be that case and that scenario. But this is not what we're working at. Our endeavor is to make sure that the process, the referendum, the registration that took place, and the referendum that will be held on the 9th, allows the people of Southern Sudan to make that choice.
US Special Envoy to Sudan, Gration.